Hello everyone. Now you can hear me. Sorry about that. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. We're going to go over the price action that occurred over the weekend and into the early morning. And then we're going to discuss whether or not this uptrend looks like it continue, or if this is just going to be another high, lower low, which is going to set us up for targets much lower. Coming into the our macro targets. So hope everyone's doing well, and let's just jump right into the Bitcoin charts. So, coming into the Bitcoin charts, what occurred was we came into this fair value gap. I said if we close at least above this fair value gap, right, you have at least a nice little long position. You did have a nice little long position. Didn't come up to our targets, which was going to be just to retest this market structure break. We didn't get that. We just came up right to this previous high. 1 hour time frame will probably show this better. Came up just to this previous high, rejected off of it. Then we continued to the downside. So just keep in mind that we do at least expect that we did have a market structure break right here on the 4 hour time frame. So we at least expect to a retest of this level at some point, of course. So I do think before we do have a macro breakdown right outside this range, I do think we will come back and retest this market structure break at 21,000 roughly. But until then, until we can get back above this high right here, things aren't looking the best. We did bounce out of this zone, which we've had labeled for quite some time on the daily term time frame between 18.5 and 17.8. So we did get bounced off of that. We could also take this as a retest of this value area low. Also to note, taking this as our new range, we have the point control heavily skewed to the downside. So we do actually expect this to come at least back up into this value area high and break out of it for quite some time before any continuation to the downside. So things are looking a bit not terrible in my opinion, to be quite honest. The only thing I'd be majorly concerned at, and the only reason why I still think we have to be very careful about upside targets, and let me just actually talk about those upside targets right now. Right now, on very small term time frames, I think we might get a small pullback into the daily. We'll actually look at SPX right before, and then I'll confirm that. But I think you might get a small pullback right into right here, 18.870. Fill this fair value gap on the 1 hour time frame, come back and retest this daily view up, and then we can see how the daily view up holds. But I still think targets back up to extremely doable, especially since we are printing a swing failure pattern on the daily term time frame, and where we expect our first take profit on the swing failure pattern. So like where do we expect the swing failure pattern to go up to at least is a 6.8, which is right near this market structure break line. So two confluences right there as well. Obviously, by the time the daily close, we have a major dump. We don't bring a form of swing failure pattern. Things get real nasty. Essentially, with targets down right here until 14,000. So. Then you can expect your first little bounce. So if this swing failure pattern does not print on the daily time frame, especially if you break out of this zone by the daily time frame, I don't think that's going to occur. But if that happens, things get real nasty. And the reason why I'm just a little skeptical on higher time frames having more upside, simply just because of the time schedule, right? The more time we stay up here, the sharper this move down is going to get. I guess we can always have a sharp moves, right? So right here, we were saying like if we come down to this level, this is how straight it has to be. Now it has to be this straight, and this is of course on the weekly term time frame. Coming down to the daily, this is the intended bottom with respect to timing from the time from Bitcoin halvings compared to last cycles. This seems to hold pretty well. I don't think at this point many people should. I mean, I guess some people say this time is always different, but the longer we stay up here, the steeper this line gets. So that's the only major concern I really have with this chart. We could take a look. I mean, just like a little experiment, just to see how nasty. I mean, I need bars pattern. Not necessarily that I think it's going to follow this pattern, but I just want to see this major capitulation to the downside, how fast it played out. Like, could we actually just, yeah, I guess we could, like, bam. That's pretty much the same time. Like, we can actually move down that fast, which is quite terrifying, I guess. I mean, a few months away, but 40% drop in, oh no, hold on. Ooh, from day to day, today, bang. 45% drop in 49 days. So, yeah, the longer we wait, the nastier that gets. So, just keep in mind that if it doesn't print a swing five pattern, things get real nasty, and all upside targets pretty much go out of the water. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin Ethereum valuation. So, taking a look at the Bitcoin Ethereum valuation, we did bounce off of this point of control on this macro range, which is great to see. I believe we had this small fair value gap at the bottom. I don't know if that still holds. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Okay. So we do have this fair value gap just below. It will eventually get filled. But until then, right, we are just bouncing around all of these. I believe we have this marked out as, yes, our market structure break, probably on the daily term time frame. Yep. So we broke market structure. I wanted to see this range high get met. It's probably not going to get met at this point because we broke market structure, which means the most likely direction, we're just going to start a downtrend now, right? Uptrend's been invalidated. Where is our bullish order block? So less NIF can move up before the market structure breaks. So right here, we could come down to smaller term time frames just to label it out, just in case we get that bounce. If Bitcoin bounces, I assume Ethereum will as well, and consequently, the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation will also bounce, and so we might get this pull back into this bearish order block. If we just want to make it a bit more, tight, it's going to be between 78.54 and 81.25. So if we do get that bounce, I expect to pull back into this region, then continuation to the downside. But for now, I think we are playing out a small bounce, and I wouldn't expect much. I wouldn't expect a major move until the daily closure, to be quite honest. So I just think you could come fill this very small fair value gap, then continue ranging. So let's just see what that looks like in terms of Ethereum. Okay, for Ethereum, finally came back and filled this fair value gap to a T. I think I was saying like last week, if we have a major breakdown, this is gonna eventually fill and we'll get a small bounce off of it. So it did. This fair value gap has finally been filled. We still have one to the upside. Keep in mind up here between 15.50 and 15 roughly. Just keep in mind that will eventually fill as well. You can see how long, right? This was how many days ago? Like 65 days ago, so nearly 2 months, or more than 2 months. So these things, they will eventually fill. That's just the key thing. It's just like it doesn't have to fill immediately. Just when one forms, they will eventually fill, and we look for other clues to tell us whether or not it will fill now, later, etc. But for now, Ethereum continues on its way up. Market structure breaks. I'm surprised. I mean, we broke it over here on the 4-hour. Never got that pullback. Never got that retest either. But in the daily term time frame, we can also take it to be right. We could see like very conservatively right here. So we could argue that we just broke our market structure and going to get a pullback into this region, which we would kind of expect with that bounce anyway. So targets for me still would just remain right here up to 1472. If we do decide to break down, if Ethereum does decide to break down, which I don't think, not a lot is pointing to that, at least, especially the Ethereum Bitcoin value stream, we're getting that bounce off the point of control. You're probably just good to come down and retest this point of control right here, currently at 12.19 roughly. So if we do get a breakdown, then I'm just looking at the next bounce to be at 12.19. But for now, I believe everything will just range. Like slight uptrend and then just range, and then we'll get the daily closure. If there's a swing flat pattern, I think we'll have some pretty significant upside. SPX, not looking good. Right, we identified this market structure break a while ago. Right, we broke market structure right here. We got the pullback up, which is perfectly fine. We got a pullback up right after market structure break. We expect that, right? When market structure breaks, we expect price to reverse at that point, because we can't let shorts profit too long. So if we get a pullback, form a lower high, then immediately pull back down and continue the downtrend. Let's just take our Fibonacci levels. And yeah, we're bouncing off the 705. Which is pretty significant, at least for me, because if you want to take a look at our more macro range, right, not just with this pivot right here, because if we're taking a look at this small uptrend with respect to this one pivot point right here, right, then we did have a market structure break. However, if we take a look at the more, if we zoom out a bit more, we were in a downtrend, we formed this lower high, which will let us form this lower low. Right here, we formed another to the upside market structure break. Let me just get rid of the lines just to make it more clear. Let me get rid of all this. Okay, so we did form this right here, which was a market structure break of the downtrend, where we expect a pullback into the last significant move down before the market structure break plus the 705 Fibonacci retracement. So right here we can see a pretty significant move down before the market structure break, obviously, plus the 705 Fibonacci retracement. So right here we might actually be setting a lower high with potential of pretty significant upside movement coming in to finally fill this gap right here at 43.70. Obviously we'll look for the daily closure, so I'm not going to just speak on that. We are also building bullish divergence, which is good to see. I'm not, honestly, I like to be bearish, but I'm not too bearish on this just yet. Obviously daily closure, we'll look to see how it closes. If it closes below the 705, especially below the bearish the bullish order block, then obviously we're going to continue the downtrend. Things can become nasty. Same with Bitcoin. If we close below that, if we invalidate the swing flat pattern and just form a low, things get real nasty real quick. So pretty much today or tomorrow, depending on how slow the markets move, become extremely important. Cool. I see we only have 2 viewers. Maybe that's because I haven't. Typically Mondays, like YouTube is a little weird, where like if I don't stream for the weekend, then like the algorithm doesn't push it as much, like notifications. So hopefully tomorrow will be a bit more. I see we have 2 viewers now, but I guess if you guys have any coins you want me to look over, just throw them in the chat. But if not, it's really all I have to say. I mean, it's pretty important. It's good to see some of the levels getting hit. But daily closure today is especially important. I may even like make a bit of an update video at the daily open. If that is something people will be interested in. I mean, I've already laid out my levels, but I feel like if I just make a 30-second video of just coming on and saying, like, we did form a swing play pattern or we didn't, then things are going to get real nasty. Maybe that'll be some help. Alright, so it looks like you guys don't have anything you guys want to look at, which is fine. Mondays are typically slow, which is perfect. But hope you all have a great rest of your day. Remember, links in the description below for our Discord server, completely free to join. A lot of good traders in there, as well as oh, thank you, Reality, thank you. As well as there's a link in the description below if you trade on Bybit and you want to support the channel, and you want decreased fees, you get 30% off all your fees, maker and taker and everything like that. So just make an account through that and you can get decreased fees. So hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll probably make an update video later tonight. So see you then. Bye guys.